Look, the right calls names too, but there's a special style of name-calling, deplatforming, and denormalization that the left uses. They call you a Nazi so people won't even talk to you. They call you insane because you don't debate with insane people. You, at the very least, marginalize them. Maybe you get them help. All these claims against Donald Trump's mind, well, he put them to rest, at least for serious people, by taking a cognitive test. That is a test to test his mind. Is he still with it? Has he gone mad? Is he getting too old? He took something called the Montreal Cognitive Test, and I have a couple of questions from it. I was looking at it myself. I think I could do okay on it. Maybe I should test myself because I have the odd Biden moment myself. Trump apparently got 30 out of 30, and it's questions like this. The words face, velvet, church, daisy, and red are read out to you, and you have to repeat them. And then 5 minutes later, after you answer a few other questions, you're asked to repeat them again. Did you remember them 5 minutes later? I think that's probably tougher than it sounds. Or you're read out these numbers, 2, 1, 8, 5, 4, say them in order, and then say 7, 4, 2, say them backwards. And there's little tricks like that, flipping things around in numbers and memory, and then come back and you know what? I mean, I would take that test, but I don't know if I'd get 30 out of 30. Trump did. They did this to Ronald Reagan too. Now it's true that in his final days he did have early stages of Alzheimer's disease. They did it to John McCain, the Republican candidate in 2008. I think it was particularly unfair against McCain. No one doubted that he was sharp. It's just that he was a prisoner of war in Vietnam and was so physically beat up, but they used that as an attempt to call him crazy. The left does that a lot to the right. And in Trump's case, I think he's got enormous mental stamina. And I say that not because he allegedly passed some cognitive test with 30 out of 30. I say that because, like you and like everyone in the world, I watch Donald Trump, and one of the things he does, much more than our own Justin Trudeau, for example, is he engages in fast, real-time, live national debates all the time with people who deeply hate him. I'm talking about his press conferences. Throughout the pandemic, we've seen Trump on his feet for up to 2 hours straight, going back and forth, mastering facts, parrying thrusts, for 2 hours with the likes of Jim Acosta of CNN. Donald Trump chooses his most hostile interlocutors. He doesn't hide from CNN. He calls on them. When you spar with the toughest journalists for an hour or two a day, it would be pretty clear if you lost your train of thought or couldn't remember names. I've never seen Trump forget a name or lose a train of thought, have you? But I guess fair's fair. You do want the President of the United States to be sharp. We don't want politicians to lie about their frail health, like some have in the past, including FDR. If it's fair for Donald Trump to ask these questions, and I say it is, I think the left overdoes it. I think the left demonizes it. But if those questions are fair for Donald Trump, are they fair for Joe Biden? And the answer, of course, is of course it's fair. And would you look at this new video comparing Joe Biden's mental acuity when he last ran in 2008, when he was running for vice president, versus today. Take a look at this and tell me, if you were a family member, would you intervene? Take a look.
You ask anybody in there whether or not the economic and foreign policy of this administration has made them better off in the last 8 years. And in addition to that, we have to make sure that we are in a position that we can insure every single solitary kid. We can provide catastrophic health insurance right off the bat. We can do that for the cost of just one thing, the tax cut for people in the top 1%.
And with I don't know.
You got to give them to the people who are going to spend the money. You got to deal with making sure American companies can be competitive, have a health care plan that doesn't put them at a disadvantage when they compete overseas.
You know, there's during World War II, where Roosevelt came up with a thing that was totally different than he called it
That is so painful to watch. I'm not angry at Joe Biden. I feel sad for him, like he's been a bullet loaded into a gun shot by someone else. Joe Biden is not his former self. I'm not saying he's crazy or insane. I'm not saying he has Alzheimer's. I'm saying he's gearing down. He's 10 years past his prime, and yet they're trotting him out as the man who would lead the most important country in the world in one of the most challenging times in the world. That's an excerpt from my daily show, the Ezra Levant Show. Every day I do a monologue on the news of the day, then I interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. You gotta subscribe. Go to rebelnews.com.